Hi, I'm Chad with Move4 Guitar. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play drop 2 diminished 7th chord inversions starting on the 5th string. First off, if you'd like to get the diagram for the chords that are in this lesson, you can click the link on the screen and download our intermediate and advanced chords eGuide. And like I said, it includes all the diagrams for the chords in this lesson, plus many more. It'll be really useful to you. It's a lot of mileage you can get out of it. You can use it as a reference for years to come. And the eGuide's free, so there's no reason not to just go download that. And I'm working on it right now as I'm filming this lesson, so if it's not available yet, it'll say coming soon. So just watch out for it if it's not available yet. But don't worry, you can still go through this lesson without the eGuide because all the inversions that I'm going to be playing, the diagrams will be on the screen as I play them, so you don't have to have the eGuide to follow through in this lesson. So I'm going to show you drop 2 diminished 7th chords starting on the 5th string. So the strings you'll be fretting will be the 5th string, the 4th string, the 3rd string, and the 2nd string for each one of these inversions. And in this lesson, I'm not going to dive into theory or explanation about drop chords. I just want to keep this lesson really simple, show you these shapes, and allow you to get them under your fingers and start using them right away. And I'll have other lessons that dive into the theory behind drop chords and diminished chords and all of that for those who need it. But like I said, I just want to keep this lesson simple for those just wanting to learn these shapes. And I'm going to play each one of these inversions up the fretboard, and as I do, there'll be a diagram on the screen that shows you the inversion that I'm playing. And in the diagram, it's going to show you the intervals of the chord. It's not going to show you the fingerings that I'm using. And that's because if you're learning more advanced chords like this, you should be at a level where you're able to figure out the fingerings that work best for you. And what works best for you might be different than what works best for me because everyone's hands are different. And also playing situations a lot of times are going to determine the best fingerings to use just depending on the transitions you have to make or how fast the song is and all of that. So that's why the chord diagrams are showing the intervals, not the fingerings. And I'm going to play each one of these as a C diminished 7th chord. And I'm playing them as C just because it falls on a nice place on the fretboard. I can start down here in root position, play up to 3rd inversion, and not have to double back. So I can just play them straight up in a line. That's the only reason I'm playing them as C diminished 7, because these chords are movable. There's no open strings, so these shapes are going to stay the same no matter what key you play them in. So I'm just going to start with C diminished 7 in root position. So those are drop 2 C diminished 7th chords starting on the 5th string. And I'm sure you noticed as I played those that the shape stayed the same for every one of these inversions. And that's because diminished 7 chords are symmetrical chords, which means that the shape stays the same. You just move them up in certain intervals. And with diminished 7th chords, you move them up by minor 3rd intervals. So that means you start with the first one, any of them really, and then you move up by 3 frets and the shape stays the same and you just keep moving up by 3 frets. And that's something that's unique about symmetrical chords, is that the shape stays the same, you just move them up in specific intervals, and then for each one of the inversions, the intervals of the chord just moves around, but the shape stays the same that you hold. So like I said, I'm not going to dive into the theory behind that in this lesson. I'll have other lessons that dive into that. I just want to point it out since it would be pretty obvious to you as you're going through these, and I want to make sure that I pointed it out so that you're not confused by that. So play these starting in root position, play them up to 3rd inversion and back down. Once you can do that comfortably, it's good to take these chords and play them in a random order. And that's because if you just play them in a specific order, you're going to build muscle memory based on that order. And with symmetrical chords, it's really easy to build muscle memory and just get your hand to move up, like with these diminished 7th chords, in minor 3rd intervals and not think about it. but then when you go to actually find where each one of these inversions are, when you have to think about it, you can't really find them quickly. So it's important to be able to visualize where each one of these inversions land, and if you play them in a random order, you'll be able to do that. And then once you can play them as C diminished 7, move them to the other keys, and be sure to download the eGuide that I mentioned. You can download that for free, and also be sure to subscribe because we add at least one new lesson every day.